we are diving into the goods and bads of Marvel Rivals to let you know if it's worth your time. If there's one area where Marvel Rivals shines, it's the art direction. The characters have a delightful comic book-inspired look, combined with the vibrant, polished feel of a Pixar movie. Each design feels distinct and cohesive, even when placing characters as diverse as Rocket Raccoon and the Hulk side by side. The alternate costumes add more flavor, capturing the essence of each hero while giving you some room for customization. It's clear that a lot of thought went into making these superheroes visually appealing, and that's something you can appreciate from the start. Once you jump into the action, the gameplay quickly loses the charm established by its aesthetics. Marvel Rivals is a 6v6 third-person shooter that feels like it was built to compete with Overwatch, but the execution falters. The large roster of 21 characters offers a mix of melee and ranged heroes, each with abilities tied to their Marvel lore. For instance, Loki can create illusions, and Namor summons octopuses to aid him. There's even a dynamic hero synergy system, where pairing certain characters grants bonuses or unlocks unique abilities. Rocket Raccoon and Groot become nearly unstoppable together, while Scarlet Witch enhances Magneto's power in fascinating ways. But despite these creative touches, the gameplay feels like an overwhelming mess. The visual chaos of having 12 heroes on screen at once, each unleashing their abilities, projectiles, and ultimates makes it nearly impossible to read the battlefield. Instead of relying on strategy or skill, you're left spamming abilities and hoping for the best. This chaotic nature might provide some short-term fun, but it lacks the depth or precision needed for a satisfying competitive experience. Without a sense of control over your performance, it becomes frustrating to keep playing. For a game centered on superheroes, Marvel Rivals struggles to deliver impactful gameplay. Melee characters in particular suffer the most. Landing punches or strikes feels weightless, offering no feedback beyond seeing an opponent's health bar decrease. Even abilities and ultimates, which should feel empowering, lack the satisfaction you'd expect from a Marvel title. Ranged characters fare slightly better, but the overall gameplay still feels hollow. There's no sense of being a powerful superhero, which is a major flaw in a game like this. Marvel Rivals plays it safe with its game modes, essentially copying Overwatch's formulas without bringing anything new to the table. While the destructible environments in the maps could have added some strategic depth, they instead contribute to the visual clutter. For a game featuring Marvel characters, the potential to create unique and thematic modes was immense. Imagine a mode centered around collecting Infinity Stones or battling iconic villains. Unfortunately, Rivals doesn't capitalize on these opportunities, sticking to safe and uninspired options. While the roster is diverse, some characters feel overpowered. Venom, for instance, is nearly unbeatable unless the entire team focuses on taking him down. Balance issues like these are common in beta stages, but they add to the game's current struggles. The third-person perspective combined with the exaggerated visual effects makes it difficult to track what's happening, especially during intense moments. For a game hoping to cultivate an esports scene, this is a significant drawback. Spectators would likely find it even harder to follow the action. Overwatch's influence is hard to ignore. Marvel Rivals borrows heavily from its structure, but fails to replicate its success. Overwatch offered a balance between unique heroes and competitive depth, which kept players engaged for years. Marvel Rivals, in contrast, feels shallow. Even Sony's Concord, another Overwatch-inspired title, manages to feel more polished despite being less original. Yet Rivals is seeing more success in its beta phase, likely due to Marvel's brand power and effective marketing rather than the game's actual quality. Marvel Rivals can offer some fun if you're looking for a mindless superhero brawler where you can smash your favorite characters against each other. The art style, character variety, and unique synergy abilities are highlights. However, the chaotic gameplay, lack of impactful mechanics, and uninspired game modes make it hard to recommend. If you're someone who enjoys casual, visually chaotic experiences and doesn't mind the lack of depth, you might find some enjoyment here. But for those seeking a competitive, balanced, and strategic game, Marvel Rivals falls short. It's a spectacle-driven game that feels more like a product designed by marketing executives than a passion project from developers. While the Marvel name might draw you in, the lack of longevity and meaningful gameplay will likely push you away. That wraps up our thoughts on Marvel Rivals, but if you're interested in exploring another exciting title, we've got a full review of Supervive waiting for you. In that review, we dive into everything you need to know about the gameplay, mechanics, and whether it's worth your time. So be sure to check it out and see if Supervive might be your next favorite game.